Hey funnel builders, Mike here from sellyourservice.co.uk. Today I want to share with you how we build our weekly email newsletters. I'm going to be using ActiveCampaign for this. I think it's really important that you learn how to send emails every single week, and kind of a really quick way, I'll show you the way that we use to kind of throw all the content in there, make sure that it's nice and simple, and why the more work you do on the content actually makes building the email newsletter easier. So let's jump inside ActiveCampaign here. As you can see, I've got the new layout where everything's on the left hand side. I've got this newsletter here that we're going to be using. This is for Sell Your Service. I'm going to click duplicate, and what this does is we have a pretty basic template that we use for almost all of our newsletters, and in ActiveCampaign it creates a copy. If I click continue here, I'm going to change it to today's date, and today is the 25th of May, and click next. This is just the campaign name. I've got it going out to the newsletter. I'm not worried about the segment because that's going to pretty much everyone. And what I'm going to do is I'll show you a bit of an overview. We have kind of an order of priorities. First of all, we have our main blog post at the top here. This here is kind of like a catchy, like a bit of sizzle, like a headline. And we then go through each of our new kind of segments depending on what we've got. We've usually got a training webinar, which I tend to have at the top here. Then we'll have something like a video, usually a YouTube video, then our podcast episodes, and then usually I'll end up with a post that I haven't used in a long time. So one of our older posts, and that's about it. It doesn't need to get more complicated than that. We get all of our images from Unsplash, so I'll use the same image from the blog post on the featured image here. And this particular one is how to build high converting webinar funnels. So this is our current flagship blog post that we've got. This is one we published this week. So I'm going to click copy there. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to paste as plain text and then delete this. And all I'm going to do, in this post, I've outlined you our 7-step 2-hour webinar funnel process. You'll be able to build a funnel which attracts. So I'm going to copy this first paragraph. And I know that when I write my paragraphs, my opening paragraphs, that I'm going to be using it inside my blog post. So I think, well, I want to make sure that it would make sense when it's introduced kind of out of context. Let's split this out a little bit so it's slightly easy to read. There we go. Delete that. And what I do now is I take those links and I'll put one in the image. I obviously need to change the image as well. New image, May, and let's add a new image here. And this one is inside my blog posts. A nice optimized one here, and just let that load in. And again, whatever you're using, this is fine. We used to use MailChimp, but now we use ActiveCampaign for absolutely everything. The process is obviously going to be slightly different, but the structure doesn't need to be any more different. And I'll show you a few other little hacks as well in case you don't produce as much content as me. So as I click on the image, I want to make sure that's a link. I want to make sure that this is a link as well. I do know the shortcuts for this, but I wanted to make sure that I would show you guys. So paste, that's fine. It's Control K, by the way. That's a lot of is insert link. There's a lot of shortcodes. Just let you know. We now have this free training. We've already got this in here. This is how to know what you want out of life and create a plan to do it. So I've already got that here. So I'm just going to leave that for the time being. We've got loads of new YouTube videos, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of the best ones. Before you decide what you'll charge for a funnel, no, squeeze view. Oh man. Here we go. Order of priorities. Don't start with traffic for customer funnels. Let's do this one. So I'm going to copy this, come down to my newsletter. First of all, I paste it as plain text, and that keeps all of the formatting, and then I can delete. Oh. Let's make sure let's get this back there like that. Then I can delete all of this. What we do is we have, you can see actually, we have 2 columns. It's quite a simple again, it's another reason. A lot of them are very similar. We've got drag and drop email editors. I would drag an image in here, and then I would drag a text block in to the right hand side, and it would create a half and half. We then have these little separator links as well, which we can duplicate if we want to. And I'll drag this down here underneath where it is. There it is. And we'll drag these down here as well. I'll be honest, I think Active Campaigns is a little clunky. I thought that MailChimp had like this beautiful email creation kit. Active Campaigns is a little clunky, but their automation's much better, so I'm kind of sticking with them. So don't start with traffic for customer funnels. And what I'm going to do is I write up a description in obviously all of my YouTube videos. And so I'm going to stay here. In this video, I'm going to show you. So I have at the end of the kind of description part, I know that that's going to go in. Now that's useful for YouTube anyway, so people can read the description. But what I want to do is come here again, paste as plain text. Delete that there. And let's change this image as well. So May, add new image. Let's look for YouTube videos. Don't start with traffic. Here we go. A little thumbnail that I've got here that I've built in Canva. And when that uploads, I'm going to select that. And don't start with traffic. Instead of taking this link, because what you can do is as this moves forward, that link sometimes changes because you can share a video with a current stage. So what I'm going to do is just take this link here. If I click start, it would add plus 2 minutes, 2 seconds. But I just want to take this link here and come back and copy and paste them into this one here. And again, we've got a podcast that I do with my friend James Bray. Add new image. And this one would be in our email folder. May, how to start a podcast, episode number 51. Crazy to think we've been doing that for a year now. And click choose, and then James writes up. James does a fantastic write-up for each one. I use the word successful. In this week's show, we're revealing. I love his write-ups. Yes, you did read that correctly. I used the word successful. Hilarious. I'm going to take this, paste that there. I use the command Control Shift V for paste, and hold on. So yeah, what I'm going to do is paste this in here, take the episode number as well. I'm just going to copy that, come back. Now something else I like to do, which I haven't done on this one here, is I put it in the square brackets what the type of content is. So I say this is a video. Actually, let's try this one. Let's try YouTube. And I'll take the link again to make sure that it's all linked. Pretty sure I did this one. Yep. Podcast episode 51. Take this link. We use Podbean for our podcast and hosting. Select that. Listen, download here. Cool. How to write the perfect high converting proposal for a marketing funnel project. I'm going to keep that there because it's quite a popular post. I like having that in there. And I'm going to delete these ones. Yep. And delete this here. Yep. And finally, delete that little spacer. Now read this content here. This just goes through to our blog posts, just our blog in general. It's quite clicked on actually. A lot of people click on that. Let's go up to our subject lines. Again, I like to have a topic here saying SYS newsletter, Sales Service newsletter. And today, what are we talking about? Building webinar funnels. And what was the other one? Oh yeah. And don't drive more traffic. Take that, paste that in there into the test as well, close that. And what I like to do is change this as well. So we'll think of something. There we go. Don't drive more traffic even if you think you need it. How to build high converting webinar funnels. Don't start with traffic for customer funnels. How to know what you want out of life. Podcast episode. Cool. I think we're pretty much there. And what I like to do now is click on next. And I will have already sent a test one to myself. So always make sure you send a test to go through those links. But I'm going to click schedule here. This will go out today at usually 4:27 is fine, my time. Click finish and my newsletter's done. So in summary, make sure that when you're writing your content that you can take individual pieces from that content and put it into the newsletter. Now, for a lot of people, you might just be writing one blog post a week. I happen to produce a blog post, a few videos, and another blog post as well on different channels, depending on where we're publishing. Make sure that you just take extracts from the content and put that in the blog post. It doesn't have to be written from scratch every single time. That was something that really saved us a lot of time when I learned how to do that. Thanks very much, guys. If there's any more questions you've got about writing newsletters or having newsletters down below, you can also use curated content. So you could go out and find 2 or 3 articles that you think your audience would enjoy. Or if you're doing this for your customers, find something for your customers that they would enjoy and send that to them as well in the newsletters. Let me know in the comments below. I am Mike from sellyourservice.co.uk. Thanks very much and keep building those funnels.